Today, we're going to make glove friends.
Some assembly required.
Hello and welcome, or welcome back to our channel, if you've been here before.
Welcome back.
So the thing that we're going to make today is little friends, little stuffed animals made out of gloves. At this time of the year, I feel like a lot of people have gloves lying around that have developed many holes during the winter, or they're ratty in some other way. But they could have new life as little friends. And you have them already, so you don't need to go to the store, which is great because you can't. Here's what you'll need. Your gloves, scissors, thread, needles. I have a sheet of white felt for teeth. There are some buttons and googly eyes for eyes. I've got the hot glue gun plugged in just in case we need to glue the buttons and the eyes and everything, and also the teeth on. I have a stick and some fiberfill. You could also, if you had an old pillow or something like that, you could cannibalize that for some new friends, in case you don't have for stuffing of any sort. So that is really all you need to get started. The stick is helpful, not 100% necessary, but it helps to get the stuffing down into the little fingers of the gloves. Before we came down here, we thought about what we might like our creatures to look like, and we drew out a plan. So that is creature number 1. And this is creature number 2. So my plan, I will show you the way that I plan to do it, is I will cut off this pinky finger and this pointer finger, as well as this thumb. So that's the basic shape of my guy. And then I will sew pinky and pointer back on as hands. I'm not sure if he's going to have a gigantic nose that will be his thumb, or maybe his thumb will just be extra. I've also made them where the thumb is the tail. I don't know. You know that I don't always like to plan. And then for legs, you just fold up the cuff and then stitch down the middle, and that ends up looking like little feet. So that's this guy. And for yours, what do you plan to do?
I'm gonna cut off these fingers and he's gonna have a horn.
And then you're sewing the fingers back on as...
I'm sewing 2 fingers back on as feet.
And 2 fingers back on as hands, right?
Yeah.
So, some finger movement to make him super exciting. And so, we will do this on the Fasty Fast camera, and we will let you know how it turned out. Hopefully, fantastic. You can really use whatever kind of stitch you want, whatever you're comfortable with. We are using kind of blanket stitches. It's especially nice because these gloves are super duper fluffy, so you can sew anything to them, and as long as the stitches are close enough together, you won't be able to tell because it's so fluffy that it just covers everything. While I'm here talking to you, I also wanted to say, as you're sewing it back in, keep in mind where you'd like to stick arms or legs or whatever, and rather than sewing up an entire side of the body where you then would like to put an arm, just stick the arm in as you're sewing it up. Make sure you fill it up first, because when you've sewn it, it will be sewn closed. So give it a little fluff first and then sew it right in as you sew the edge up. It'll just save you a little time later. Now, if you don't have these lovely fluffy gloves, but you have the regular, like, stretchy ones that might show the stitches, you can do most of this with them turned inside out so that you can get the stitches and they're not all weird looking. Did you run out of thread again? Have you learned nothing? Maybe. So yeah, if you don't have the super fluffy gloves and you find that the stitches are showing, just flip them inside out sew up everything that you can and then make teeny tiny stitches on the stuff that you can't do from the inside, it will work just the same. We just like these because it's super easy and no muss, no fuss. Maybe a little bit of muss because they shed a little bit while you're cutting them, but no fuss. So, as you can see, there are a few different ways that these guys can turn out. These are the two that we ended up with. Here's a closer look. Hello! And if you have an extra, like say you have a finger that you cut off that you don't need for your design, you can make it into a baby or a toy.
Or a sock puppet.
Because these guys need friends too, you know. Oh, they can be friends with each other. Now, we have made these before. I will link the original glove guy video in the description. And if you would like to make yourself a sock puppet, I will link that video as well in the description. And also up here in the cards if I can figure out how to do that. If not, it's in the description. So, for this guy, this is the middle finger and the ring finger. I cut the pinky off and the pointer finger and the thumb, which is strange because I did then end up I cut off the thumb and then added it again on the side. But it made sense at the time. I'm sure there was a reason. Now the pinky is the nose, and then I folded up the cuff and sewed a bunch of stitches in the middle to make his legs.
I kept the middle finger for his head and I cut off
everything else.
And then I glued 2 fingers back on here
Sewed
and 2 fingers back on here.
Yep, so you sewed 2 fingers for arms and then 2 fingers for feet after you sewed the bottom kind of flattish. And then this guy is just an extra thumb that we had left over, as well as that guy. Same. So cute. I hope that you notice that they both have only one eye, because they're supposed to look like each other.
It's a sock puppet of himself. This is a fun thing to do if you're stuck at home.
Especially if you have at least some of these supplies. If not, you could make them out of socks or just fabric that you have around. It is easier because the gloves already have fingers. But if you had mittens or something else, you could certainly make the same kind of idea.
So,
thank you so much for watching our video. We had a lot of fun making these guys, and now they're gonna go on an adventure. I hope that you enjoyed yourself. If so, give it a thumbs up. And if you would like to see more things that you can make at home when you are not doing anything else, make sure that you subscribe to the channel. We're going to be making all kinds of things because we have time. So new videos come out Tuesdays and Saturdays. They might be things like this. They might be something totally else because we like all kinds of things. So keep your eyes peeled. Click that notification so that you know when all the videos come out and you don't miss anything, because there could be something super fun and you don't want to miss it. So we will see you next time. Bye!
Are the people still there?
Are they in there?
Sock puppet, maybe you should look. I don't see anybody. Is there anyone? No, maybe you should look. Too bad.